Alright, so here we go, the 5th season. I can't believe I've done this 5 times of predicting how the league is going to finish up this year. Of course, it never comes correct, but that doesn't stop me from trying. So this year, a little something extra, brought to you by Lagunitas. We're going to start out with the Barley Division. First team, Jets fan. Starting out, the wide receivers on this team are really scary. You know, Bryant, Jones, and Crabtree. It's probably a good thing because I don't know exactly how your running backs are going to turn out. But let's see. Once again, Morehead City Jets fan has 0 Jets on his team. Cowboys receivers apparently got a thing for them because you picked up both Bryant and Williams, as well as both of the Bills running backs. So you got Spiller as well as Jackson out there in the fold. Looks like you have the enemy surrounded and have backups for your backups. Let's see. You guys know normally how this works. A value pick. Try to pick a starter. I think that was excellent value. We'll go there with C.J. Spiller, the 38th pick. My bust pick, I'm not quite sure why you ended up taking him. Sean Green at 123. It's hard to call a bust a 123rd pick, but it's also Sean Green. And the sneaky pick, we're going to go with Terrence Williams at 103. Somebody's got to emerge from that Dallas receiver core to take advantage with everybody triple teaming Dez Bryant. So Jets fan, another year marked improvement. We're going to go with 8-5. Not quite good enough to win you the Barley Division, but certainly enough to get you in the playoffs. Next up, we have Straight Ass Homie, Straight Cash Homie, or as I like to call it, ESPN sucks with your fucking auto pick. I don't know what you could have been doing that was more important in this draft. I mean, this coming from the guy that drafted from Disneyland. Bravo, sir. Let's see. If anybody is interested in knowing what the limit is for running backs being drafted by the computer auto-picking for you, apparently it's 9 because Homie here's got them all. It feels like your entire team, I don't know why, just looking at it, it looks like every one of them should be collecting Social Security. They're just old names. If not Social Security, at least a free beverage, senior beverage at their local Hardee's. The only quarterback does kind of scare me a little bit. It is Cam Newton. You know what's going on with that wide receiver core, a little bit of a bum wheel with his ankle. I hope he really puts forth a good season. Value pick, we're going to go with tight end Witten at 73. He's always close to 100 catches. That's just really awesome to have him fall that far. Bust pick, I'm going to go with Adrian Foster. I know it was a 13th pick. There's really not much there on that offense. They're going to have to run the ball, but it just seems like he's always hurt. Definitely high risk there for a starting running back in my mind. As far as sneaky, I mentioned the whole nine running backs, but if anybody's out there on the free agent wire and looking for any New Orleans Saints running back, past, present, or future, don't bother. Just go open up a trade window with Straight Cash Homie because I think he's got them all with the exception of Darren Sproles. Reggie Bush, Ingram, Pierre Thomas, Kyrie Robinson. I mean, really, they're all freaking there. I don't know what the hell they expect the Saints to run the ball that much and take the value with the auto pick, but you're lost for not showing up, buddy. Let's see. We're gonna put you at 5, 7, and 1 this year. Yes, you are gonna be one of my ties. Unfortunately, I think I'm also gonna say outside looking in, probably looking at getting the number 1 pick next year. Your money back. Yeah, that's what happens. Next team, Anti-Swamp Billies. Last year's draft was just full of every guy that I would target, you would just snipe with a pick right before me. So I took a little bit of satisfaction having you say that a couple times in the draft. So thanks. As far as your title defense, I think you're off to a really good start for the rest of us. it's really difficult to turn a lot with that number 10 pick, but somehow you managed to screw it up in my mind. But we'll see, because obviously they don't agree with me. Best value pick, Vincent Jackson, number 30. He's a guy that will literally win you weeks from here and there, and he'll also probably lose you weeks. So it should be fun for you listening to today about whether you should start him or not throughout the entire season and have him blow up for 40, 50 points and then come back with a 0 the next week. Then again, like I said, he could become more consistent. You got Evans on the other side. I think it's going to get a little bit of attention. So the bust pick, I don't know who they are, but Prater is not a position player. He should never be drafted as such. And if you spend your number 71 pick on a freaking kicker, when you've also spent your earlier pick, I don't have the number here, probably 50 or 60th, on the Seattle Seahawks as your defense that early, you better be in love with them is all I got to say, because you're going to be riding them every single week. Sneaky pick, we're going to go with Bennett, tight end at 151. Here's a guy, just tons of talent. He's got a chance to excel in that Chicago offense as the number 3 receiver, and he's going to be a good plug. He'd basically be a starter if need be. So let's see, record. You're also going to go with the 5-7-1 record. Yes, I picked you and Homie to have the epic tie battle, and with the same record, you're going to be the one that sneaks into the playoff to at least try to defend your title. And I'm going to go off on a limb and say it's going to be by more points, and those points are probably going to come from Prater's foot, just because karma's a bitch. Let's see. We're going to go next to the Beaufort Berserkers. Every single year, stop me if you've heard this one before. It just seems like you always get Jamal Charles, you always get Russell Wilson. Just be screaming the mantra of, hey man, we're getting the band back together every single season, and every single season you come out with high hopes and then end up in the draft lottery. My concern with this team, again, you only selected 3 running backs, 2 of which have been known to have bad wheels. And number 3 really kind of being not a top running back with Sproles, although I gotta think he can really do something good this year. I think this team's good enough. It's going to carry you right to the cusp of the playoffs. It is, at least until you decide to tank it and just blow the last few weeks in order to try and get a high pick for next year, and do your little subtle hustle all over again, which never seems to work out for you. Let's see, value pick, Tom Brady at number 59. He's got to do better than last year. He's going to have more weapons around him. I think he's going to be a quality starter. He's not that old yet. Bust pick, Jeffrey, wide receiver out of Chicago. I know he had some good weeks last year. Just blew up there, but the 22nd pick invested in him seems really awful steep. That's one of those that I'll eat my crow later if he really continues his play. Sneaky pick, I'm going to go with Sproles here. 102nd pick on him is awesome. He's probably slowed down a step or two, but he's really got the potential to be something scary there in the Philadelphia offense, along with McCoy. Any type of carries that he takes away from him, really the real danger is going to be in his receiving and what he can do in the open field. And that just high-octane offense, man, it seems to be built for him. Beaufort Berserkers, 6-7 record. Welcome to the playoffs. Last, Carter at Hellride. In Denver we trust, my friend. They legalized pot, and I guess that just spoke to you somehow. I'm not sure. Week 4 is going to be a bitch. But I do like keeping it in the family. You took all the Mannings, keep them all in one place. We know where Lurch is going to be. We know where the forehead's going to be every single week. It's good. It's a really good thing. It is weird. Last year, you picked 2 kickers. This year, a quarterback in the first round. you're surprising me, bro. These are things that I just never thought you'd end up doing. It's just so unlike you. So value pick, Colston, 86 pick, man. What the hell? He's in that offense. You know, he's probably behind Graham as number one target, but any given week he can turn it on. Hampered by injuries last year, I think he's going to really come around. Bust pick, Ryan Matthews, number 35. Do I need to say more? From now on until every league year, Matthews will be a bust pick for me. He's burned me too many times and I can't stand him. Maybe it'll work out better for you. Who the hell knows? Sneaky pick, I'm going to go with West, the running back out of Cleveland. 135th pick. Really nowhere to go but up there. I'm not convinced Tate's going to be a number one running back. I think he's going to be given every chance to, but it just seems like there's good things about that guy, and he's probably ready to step up and just snatch a starting role for a couple of weeks, probably right around the time you need it. So Hellride, Barley Champ again. I really hope that curse is there for you. 8-5 record and continuing into the playoffs. So that will do it for the Barley division. We'll have the hops later on this week. And cheers. This just in. We've had our first roster movement. Anti-Swamp Billies has dropped Danny Amendola, New England wide receiver, and picked up Jarrett Boykins, Green Bay wide receiver. And not one single bit of good is it going to fucking do you.
He's lost his mind.
I don't think so.
Alright, and welcome back as we resume the predictions for the year. We're going to go back to the hops division. Got my beer, no more little something something. This is a good old homebrew, nice pale ale. Speaking of hops division, I know a thing or two about hops. Unfortunately, I apparently don't know shit about predictions, which is what makes this fun every single year. So moving along, we have the Newport Thugwanis. It still just doesn't roll off the tongue, but you've kept it, so oh well. The one question I have for you, do realize we start 2 running backs every week. Not 1 running back in a flex, 2 running backs. You can't even claim auto pick at the end of your season with what a disaster it's going to be if you continue to roll with just those 3 guys. You can't even claim auto pick at the beginning of the season, bitching about how bad your team is, like some of us.
Oh, bitch.
You said you were going strong with the wide receivers. You weren't lying. I'm still not sure what you did, selecting 2 Carolina Panthers past and present receivers, but, you rolled with it. Again, you got to do something about those running backs. I hear both Homie and Short Bus have a plethora of running backs, and you should really try and hit or trade, which never happens in this league. Let's see, getting on to value pick. I'm going to go with Fitzgerald, 37th pick. Guy just tends to fall off the map there from time to time, but he's due for a big rebound season. Your reach pick, Drake Bell. Look, he surprised everybody last year, but spending the 57th pick on him, normally I'd say is not all that bad, but when you're counting on him to be your number 2 running back, it's a bit of a reach, bud. Number 3, sneaky pick, Benjamin. Who else is Newton going to throw the ball to other than Olsen? Benjamin's already pushed your old Jericho and Tiquan and everybody else off to the side. He's going to be a red zone target and probably do pretty good. So, Thugwanis, we've actually got you pulling up the bottom of the division with a 4-9 record. Just came into the league pretty sucky, rebounded last year, and I think you're gonna fall back to middle of the pack. All right, next up we have Short Bus. Short Bus, you rolled in with the auto pick this year. Kind of surprised everybody. You're usually right behind Thugwanis into the draft room, waiting for it to start. It looked like you had gone in and made some adjustments because some of the picks just didn't seem to make sense with the other auto picks. The one thing that looks odd, no second quarterback right now. Stafford, is has potential, but he's not going to get you there 16 games. Let's see. Beyond that, I don't know when you're going to learn the lesson. Every single year, you pick the trendy white guy wide receiver. You stick him on your team for 4 weeks, whether or not his name is Jordy Nelson, Wes Welker, or who was it last year? Eric Decker. Oh yeah, let's drop him after 4 weeks. Thank you very much. But soon you'll learn that you just can't rely on the great white hype for a wide receiver. Don't do it. Don't make the same mistake next year. By the way, I'm sure Jordy Nelson will be available within 3 or 4 weeks. Value pick, Percy Harvin, 54. Man, the guy's electric. If he could just stay healthy, his Seattle offense, that's going to be awesome. For your reach pick, it's kind of the Ryan Matthew. I absolutely hate CJ2K. I think him at 67, even at 67, guys just lost too much tread. I'd be surprised if he's not splitting carries with Ivory the entire year in Jets offense. And then Andre Johnson. He's done it for so many years, just being the centerpiece, and he's going to be asked to do it again this year for Houston. Man, the guy's just getting old. I don't know, 34th pick for him seems like a bit steep. Sneaky pick, Kendall Wright. Man, 94th overall. The computer made an excellent choice for you there. Here's a guy that's on the verge of catching 100 passes. He's just looking for the touchdown totals to increase, which I'm sure they will. So that's what I got. For you, Short Bus, we're going to go with the old 5 and 8. You get a bonus win there and into the playoffs because of that really tough deployment to Tampa Stand. All right, my nemesi. I don't know. Can you have more than one nemesis? We're going to go with the Swansboro High Tiders next. On paper, man, this just seems like one of those drafts of teams that everybody just fell to you. You sniped me a couple of times, being a couple picks away. I thought I was going to get away with having a few guys fall to me, but obviously not. Tight end, I think tight end might be a concern. Reed has the potential to be a beast with Washington, but he also has the potential to scramble his noggin every 3 out of 5 weeks. So a little bit of a concern. The wide receivers are going to carry this team, man. It is just absolute scary. Calvin Johnson, A.J. Green, and Roddy White. White's in for a big season. He's going to rebound. And on top of it, you got Cooper, who's not going anywhere in that Philadelphia offense, and Ruben Randall, who's, everybody's just counting on him blowing up this year. This team just has, record points 1 week, and then absolutely nothing the next. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a lot of ups and downs. You're probably going to be ticked off if you're listening today a little too much. The one thing I do have to say, I think I mentioned it before. I feel for anybody that has a Miami Dolphin running back on their team. You took Noshawn. Man, I don't know what to say. I feel for you there. Value pick, Matt Ryan, 65th pick overall. Man, I really just thought he was going to fall to me, but oh well. I think it's a great pick. He's getting Julius Jones. He's going to lose Gonzalez, but Julio Jones is going to lose Gonzalez, but man, that offense is just right for a rebound. Reach pick, I'm going to say again. I already mentioned Jordan Reed. He was at 85th. Just a little bit of injury concern. I think Andre Ellington at 36. I really hope I'm wrong about this because I ended up grabbing him in another league, but I think the 36th pick overall may be a little bit high. He came on strong at the end of last year, but really has a lot to prove himself. Sneaky pick, again, we're going to go with Cooper. 105th overall. That's pretty awesome. Last year he was the man where Deshaun Jackson was kind of the afterthought, and even with Macklin being back this year, I think Cooper's really going to hopefully blossom and continue that offense. So High Tiders coming in at 6 and 7 and in the playoffs. All right, next up in the division, we're going to go with the Boston Ale Motherfuckers. Hopefully the name will stick with the name, and maybe it'll get me back in the playoffs. Let's see. big issues here. First time for everything, taking a tight end in the first round. You know, I was kind of hoping either Calvin Johnson or Eddie Lacy would be around coming up with the 9th pick, but I get surprised every year with this draft. Jimmy Graham was just sitting out there, so I figured why not. Went with him, then the second round came back with Monty Ball, and that I got to tell you, that scares me. I think I reached there a little bit. He's certainly got the potential in that offense, but hate going with second-year running backs, man. Let's see, wide receiver depth really scares me here. I really, really wish our stinking commissioner had allowed the flex position to be running back, wide receiver, or tight end. More on that later. You know, challenges certainly exist, especially looking at quarterback. Not overly happy having Romo and Cutler. Maybe they'll make a pretty good combination, but you don't want your starting, quarterback to be coming off of a bulky back, and everyone considering putting Manziel in his place on the draft card. So let's see. I think value pick. Patterson, wide receiver out of Minnesota. The guy's just electric. He's a Percy Harvin type of a guy. If he can just stay healthy, he'll take some of the load off of AP. Let's see, reach pick. It's a pair of running backs. Trent Richardson. I don't know. You guys can laugh at me later for that one if he continues with his 2 yards per carry. And speaking of 2 yards per carry, I think that would probably be a wonderful season for Lamar Miller, who I also took with the 92nd pick. You know, the guys were out there, just thought it was value, and really counting on Richardson having a rebound year. We'll see what happens. Sneaky pick. You know, it's not the first time I've done this, but I went with another strong tight end with the 72nd pick, Jordan Cameron. Had visions of him blowing up like he did every year or every game that Gordon did not play for Cleveland last year, regardless of who was throwing him the ball. So, you know, maybe he'll be able to keep it going. A little bit of insurance if Jimmy Graham gets hurt, and like I said, I think he'll continue to produce. So, Boston L motherfuckers coming in second with the Hops with an 8-5 record. Not quite sure I have ever posted a winning record, so maybe a first time for everything. All right, last up, exclamation, change your fucking team name. It was called a placeholder. Should probably change it to auto pick. Unfortunately, for the rest of us, your auto pick probably was not touched, and the computer really did you a favor. Couple of very small worries, probably concerning some depth at running back, but my God, you're coming into the league with a good chance of getting your money back more. Let's see. Team really, really, really looks scary on paper. Whatever you did with auto pick, don't tell the other two. We don't want them learning it. And really, all in all, welcome to the league, but I hope half of your starting lineup is fucking hurt by week 2, 3. I don't think that's too much to ask. Only tight end kind of bothers me too, being Gronk. Gronkadonk, he's made of glass. It's just an injury waiting to happen, but man, when he's on, he is on. So with that, we will go with our value picks. A pair of wide receivers here. Value picks. These are your third and probably fourth or maybe even fifth wide receiver on your team. Macklin and Wallace, 81st and 100 overall. That's just awesome, especially considering they're behind Brandon Marshall. However, that leaves me with your second wide receiver. You picked him at number 60 as your reach. Well, the computer picked him. Floyd with Arizona, 60th pick overall. He's just one of those guys that everybody expects a whole lot of, but he gets hurt. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And your sneaky pick, you know, first off, you got AP. Behind him, you got Bell in Pittsburgh. You know, guys that are just gonna carry the bell and probably do really well for you. Third, you got Tate out of Cleveland. not sold on him, but rounding it up with fourth is Christine Michael, the backup to Marshawn Lynch in Seattle. I think it's a really sneaky pick. You know, Marshawn's getting up there in age and is pissed off about his contract. You never know if they're going to move on the next year and try to see what they got behind him. So I think Michael's actually got a pretty good chance of playing this year and showing some goods. So whatever your name is, I'm going to go to 9-4. Winning the hops, and it's one of those things. I'm not quite sure who's going to win the whole thing this year. Maybe I have to do another predictions from an unsecure location, and see what happens if I'm right about all the playoffs considerations and predictions. That'll about do it, boys. I don't know. Only thing I got left to say is assalamu alaikum, bitches.
Now would probably be a good time to look for other employment options.
Oh no! We're all doomed!